Homemade.
And this is Rita with Everything Homemade, and we are planting carrots. Garden carrots are absolutely delicious, but there are some tricky things that you need to know about carrots and how to plant them. Now there's lots out there. I've tried cascading the carrot seeds on a big open row. I've tried row planting. I've tried lots of different things, and I find one method to be the best, and this is going to be the method that I am going to show you today. Again, I'm going to take some of my own advice that I've shared with red beets, keeping things simple. That simply just don't complicate it. Don't buy fancy gadgets. I mean, we're doing rows here. If you're doing a field, that's another thing. But we get so caught up in consumerism. We need this, we need that, where we forget just keeping things really, really simple and basic. First thing, get a good seed. Good germination is half your issue. If you got seed from an unreliable source, or if you go to the store and you buy seed, that's one of the worst places I found. You go to the shelf, who knows how long that seed's been sitting there. The companies are great, but they mass produce hundreds of thousands of seeds. I like from ordering from small family farms. The seed quality is much better, or I try to save at least as much seed that I need from my plants. So Cottage Gardener is a good one. Heritage Seed is another good one. They're in Canada. Awesome places to work with, and I will put them in the comments box. That's your first hurdle. Your second hurdle is lots of people find carrot seeds really hard to sow. Why? Because they are extremely small. Look at that. Okay, so the smaller the seed, the harder it is to sow, and it's just because we got big fingers and it's hard and it's cumbersome. So what I'm going to do is show you a method where you sow very easily, and you're not wasting that much seed, and it will help you with less thinning. The other thing that people get a little bit irritated with carrot seed is that it takes a long time to germinate, and because of that, if it's really hot, they're a cold loving seed, they don't germinate right away, so you end up giving up, or you forget to water your rows, and then they don't germinate. My trick for carrot seed is boarding up your rows. So these are one of the things that I do board up. Everything else I don't, but carrot seed I do. Is you make your rows, and I will show you how to do that, and then after you find boards and you board it up. So therefore, when the sun hits the row, the sun does not warm up your soil as much. It keeps it cool, keeps it wet, and then you're not out here watering every 2 hours so your carrots come up. I thank my mom for teaching me this. My grandma did this, which is my mom's mom, and I've really have used this technique, and it is awesome. So board up your rows, and I will show you all these techniques. Second of all, give it time, or third of all, give it time, let it germinate, and that will, help you with your carrots. So we are going to go plant some seed, and hopefully we'll, in 20 days, sometimes it takes 14 days if we're lucky, that the carrots will come up. So let's go plant. Okay, so we are going to grab my awesome trusty row marker or row maker, and we are going to turn this row hopefully and this row into carrots. I'm not sure if I have enough seed to do the rest. I wanted to get 4 rows or 4 areas, but I'm only using the seed that I have. So Nova, come over here. Just hold this for a moment for me, please.
They're small.
Yeah, they are. So what you want to do is with carrots, one, I use, this is an old broom that broke and we just kept it. Things come in handy like this, and I use it to help me make my rows here. Okay, so what I want to do with carrots especially, I'm going to just run my hand over where I want to plant. One, I'm looking for rocks, and I'm just going to shoo them here. Because carrots are so fine. If you have a clump of something, and these are bad worms. Look what I just unfolded.
What are those?
I'm not sure what kind of worm they are. They kind of look like baby cutworms. That would be my guess.
What do they do?
They eat at the root and the stem. They will cut them off. So crush those. Crush them. Okay, so let's get. Yeah, we got lots of these worms. What we almost need is the chickens to run through the garden. So note to self, make sure the chickens are in the garden spot next year to clean up on the worms. All right, so I'm going to just run my hand down this row, and I'm going to just even it out. I'm looking for clumps. I'm throwing, because again, if I don't do this, it's going to stop the germination because they can't get through a clump. So I'm literally going right through and just making sure everything's straightened out as much as I can. I mean, almost to the end here. And even it out here. We got a big clump here. Okay. Nova, can you get a shovel and dig out that dandelion, please?
Can I pull it?
No, dig it out. See if you can get the roots. Okay. So that's looking good. So that's the first thing you want to do.
Okay, so
The second thing you want to do is now make your row. And I'm hoping, Ocean, pay attention here a little bit, okay? I'm hoping to do 4 rows. So I'm going to make the first one, and you'll notice the difference from me doing the red beets to the carrots. Do you notice how light my row is? Or not light, I should say, not as deep. And I'm honestly just following the contours of my row. I know this is not straight, and if it drives some people crazy, that's okay. But I'm not here to make everything perfectly straight. Nature is never straight in their rows, so my garden doesn't have to be straight either. My husband laughs at me all the time because he's very symmetrical. Everything has the same on each side and all that. That's why he's a carpenter. But he's very creative though. But he laughs because everything I do is never in straight rows. I can't even sew straight, right kids? I still sew, but no matter how hard I try, I can't straight. Okay, so I'm going to do this too. This one here, and just to give you an idea of how I prep this. Again, you don't want to go too deep. If you go too deep, you will kill your seeds.
Mommy,
It won't be able to germinate. Yes, Nova?
you could do 5 rows.
I might. And carrots, I'm doing red,
Or 4.
what is that called? Red chutney? Something like that, carrots. I forget now. I'll have to look at the package. They're one of my favorites. They're good for clay soil. They go deep. So roots go deep. So this here is 2 rows. I will do 2 more in a moment, but I'm going to show you how to do this so you're not waiting too long.
Can I help?
Just let me show that absolutely you can help.
Okay.
Okay. So one hand I have a glove. I glove up, you guys, because I'm actually allergic to dirt. Believe it or not, I play outside all the time, but I can actually form a really, really bad rash. So I will mark my row with this hand and seed with my hand without a glove. Sometimes I'm too stubborn to put on gloves because they're irritating, but I really should because I react. And that never stops me. I don't let anything stop me. So what I like to do is take the seeds in my hand and I pinch them, and what I'm going to do is just kind of sprinkle them slowly. And I'm not going to sprinkle heavy I'm just, because the more I sprinkle heavy, the more seeds I waste and the more thinning I have to do. And in all honesty, that's the second part I dislike, is thinning hundreds and hundreds of carrots and throwing carrots away. Well, I don't throw them away, I feed them to the chickens, but
Or
it
pigs.
is, or pigs, it is just, it seems to be an utter waste. So I'd rather do this lightly and then make it too thin so it makes my seeds go. So this is how I plant carrots. I am not planting each carrot one by one. That will drive me insane. But I'm gonna plant lightly, not too thick.
Can I
So
cover it?
that is one row done. Let's cover the row. Okay. You will be able to cover, Nova. I'm just going to demonstrate here first. And you can learn too as I do this. Because this is really your first year in gardening. So let's cover the row. You can get me a marker, Nova. So I take the ones that we have for the red beets. So what I want to do now is just lightly cover my row. Just like that.
Can I put it on?
Yeah, right here.
Right here?
Yeah, and Nova's going to put a marker in. And then I'm just going to lightly pat. Now, I am not patting like really hard, you guys. I'm not doing anything. I am literally just nicely patting it so the dirt adheres a little bit to each other. And that is simply it. Okay? That is all I'm doing. After I'm done all this, I will use my watering can that has like a shower head on it, kind of with it. I'll water it, and then I will board it, and I will film, just wait, Nova, and I will film my boarding it so you get an idea what it looks like, and then go from there. So we have 1, 2, 3, and hopefully 4 of these, 4 rows in each bed to plant. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so remember, you guys, as you see this, sometimes it's really hard to cover everything, but ask me questions. I'd love to help and learn together as we plant the garden. Okay, so let's get planting. Okay, so we are done the 4 rows. As you can see, we have them marked. Just go slow. Don't twist the camera, Nova. Yeah, just hold it steady. So they are marked. There's 4 rows here. And now we're going to just water them. Okay, Nova? Up here. Nova is 7. And she's just learning how to film really well to follow me. So be patient with her. So let's water. So I'm just going to do very gently. I don't want to water in the same spot for too long.
Otherwise, will it make clumps?
Well, it won't make clumps, but it'll rut it. And it'll push the seed deeper into the dirt. And carrot seed is so small, we don't want that to happen. So a little bit of moisture here because, again, we're boarding the row up. So I don't always want to lift up the board. So as long as it's got a good little drink to start with, and I know this is been freshly watered before, and that's it. Okay. To my boards, Nova.
Big boards.
Big boards. Okay. So, I got 2 here. My husband has about 4 or 5 of these. I guess he'll find out when he comes home that I've used some of his wood, which isn't the first time. But he's not using these right now. So what I want to do is take it and look at where my marker is.
They can't go through the board.
Yeah, they won't go through the board. We're just putting it on top of the row, Nova, until they germinate. Once they start germinate, we lift the boards up.
And then they grow and we'll have nice carrots to eat.
And she's very excited for carrots. Okay, so we start like this. Now take a look. Some of this row won't be covered, so I'm going to look around the house. I'm going to find something to cover. I'm going to get 2 more boards, and I'm going to just board this whole thing up. Okay? And that is it for planting carrots. And the next thing we're going to do is dill. Hello everybody. So this is the next day and we are done early in the morning before I plant some more here, and we are done the carrot rows. So take a look. We ended up being able to seed three beds of carrots, 4 rows each. So that's pretty awesome. The rows are about 16 to 20 feet, something like that long. So there's a lot of carrots being grown here. The other thing I want to point out at the end here of this video is it's about 9:30 in the morning. And I'm not sure if this you guys can see what I see. With the sun coming down, there's slug slime. And I'm going to see if I can actually, that shininess that you can see on the rows, there's some there, there's some there, there's some there. It's actually slug slime. And this is a brand new garden spot for me. Actually, it's an existing garden spot, but somebody else has had it for X amount of years. But it's my first time I'm here because we just moved here in September last year. So note to self once again, Orion, that at fall time when we harvest, we need to have the ducks running through here. And that will solve this pest dilemma, is actually letting the ducks take over the entire garden, and we'll put chicken wire or something like that around so they can't escape. We'll actually take my whole herd of 14 to 20 ducks, run them right through here for about a week straight, and not a slug or a slug egg will be found next year. That's how you solve that problem. Then in the springtime, what do we do again, Orion? We bring the ducks back in for another week or so, and the chickens run through the garden, so we eliminate the cutworms, the pests, and have a pest-free garden as much as possible. So work with your animals. So what are we planting this morning, Orion? Do you remember what I told you?
More carrots?
No, dill.
Yeah, dill.
Dill. We are planting dill. So stay tuned on how to plant dill on the next video.